What is going on, you guys? Hope you're having a great night. Tonight I'm going to do a video and a tutorial on how to mine SiaCoin. I see that question asked all the time, and so I figured why not just make a video on it. This particular video is focused on nvidia cards, not AMD cards, because that's all I have. I only have nvidia. The only difference, as far as I know, nvidia uses what they call Cuda, where AMD uses what they call openCL. So it's not too much of a difference, I don't believe, but because I don't have AMD cards, I don't want to tell you something wrong. So just, if you have NVIDIA, this is the tutorial for you. So before we start, we're going to need 5 things. You're going to need a wallet address. You're going to need a software to mine. You're going to need to find a pool to actually mine in. You're going to need what's called Cuda, and that's specifically for NVIDIA. And then last but not least, you're going to need to have a, like a GPU, like a temperature adjuster. You can also adjust the core and the memory, like almost for overclocking type style, but I'll explain in a minute why you would need that. So step 1 is to get a wallet address. You can either use the actual SiaCoin wallet that they've created. It's just at SiaTech, their main website. You'd click on get started and you download whatever option you have here. Then from there, what you're going to need is to download Cuda. Essentially, I thought I had that open. I'll just go ahead and Cuda drivers. Oops, should be like Cuda. Yeah, this right here. And I'll put all the links in the description down below. So you're going to go to Cuda. You're going to upload or download the most recent Cuda. This is 9.1 at the moment I'm making the video. And just pick I just pick local, download it. Also update your drivers for your graphics card. That way everything's just clean and good to go. So now you have a wallet address if you've chosen this. You don't have to use that. You can actually use an address off the exchange, like Bittrex, for example. So it just depends where you want your coins once they've been mined to go. If you're going to use this actual address, this wallet down here, you can, this is kind of a walkthrough. I'll put a link on there too. So once you've downloaded the wallet, it's going to look something similar to this. I would show you, but I don't have it on this computer because I don't mine SiaCoin anymore, and it's on a different computer. So it's going to look something like this. You don't have to worry about it syncing right away for the moment. Go ahead and click on Wallet, that tab. It's going to make you create a brand new wallet, do the C, do the password. That's the normal. And then down here, it's going to say Receive SiaCoin. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to get this long string of numbers and letters. You're going to copy that because you're going to need to put that in what you call a config. So we're going to hop on over now to the software. There are multiple different softwares that you can use to mine SiaCoin. I know one of the main ones is called Marlin, and I'll show you this. So it's called Marlin. It uses openCLs for AMD, so it does AMD or NVIDIA. Cuda, which is what we are, I already told you to download with the toolkit over here. Download the version that works for your operating system. And this particular one only connects to what's called SiaMining.com Stratum server. So it would be this right here, SiaMining.com. And I'll explain this in a second. So once you've downloaded Marlin, pick one, download it. It's going to open up a file that looks just like this. Nothing more. You're going to have your executable file. You're going to have your batch file. It's a .bat. And it's also called a config file. So what you want to do, right click, edit the bat file. It's going to bring you something like this. So you don't worry about this up here. This is anything that has these little like double colon, for example. They're considered comments. Like it doesn't read that. The software won't read that. So this is just the guy who created it. Down here, this, and this. Those are the only things, and this is already kind of pre-filled in, so you don't have to worry about that. So all you want to do is change your address, which again you're going to receive from your wallet or from the exchange. You're going to plug that in. Let me go back here. Where did it go? So you would delete this out, because if you look at this address, actually it's this exact address right here. And the guy was kind of sneaky a little bit, because basically what happens is a lot of people get on, they start mining, they're like, oh, where are my coins going? Well, it's going to his address. So a little bit sneaky there, but he should have, I don't know, I think he should have deleted it out. So do you delete that out, and you're going to input your own address right here. So again, I'm just going to put this back for sake of the example, paste your own address in there. Now, set worker, it actually uses, say, example worker. Doesn't matter what you call it. I just label my rigs based off the color of my the computer cases. So for example, I had in here blue comp, and to me I know which one my blue computer is because it's a blue case. You can label it, it doesn't matter, you can label it 1, you can label it rig 7, 6, it doesn't matter. Label it anything you want. This is just so you know if you have multiple rigs, then you can label each rig a different name. And then down here, the intensity typically starts at 28. I typically will lower mine to, let's say, either 21 or 24, test it a little bit, everything is running smoothly, then I'll bump it up to maybe, a higher number, and then I think it maxes, I believe it maxes out at 28, it might max out at 34 Marlin. At that point, all you're going to do is save, close the file, go back to your folder here, and you're going to double click this. You're not going to double click this, but you're going to double click this. I'm not doing it on this computer because I don't have it set up properly. This computer can't mine anyways, and it totally kill my video. But if you were to do that, it's going to show you something similar to this. Now, this isn't for Marlin, this is for CC Miner, but they're all kind of the same concept. It's going to open up a screen that's a black screen that looks like a DOS, old school DOS version. And you know if it's working if it says something similar to like accepted. That doesn't mean that's a coin. That's not a SiaCoin that you just received. That means you've accepted that that block or whatever. So essentially you've accomplished something, so to speak. You got the hash right here, and it says yes. Again, Marlin might say something different. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been months since I mined with Marlin, but that's what CC Miner, something similar, looks like this. The other way you can find out if it's working properly is, let me go back to this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy his address because you'll see in here in a second. So SiaMining.com, that's where Marlin is tied to automatically by default. If you look by default, the miner connects to one of the SiaMining Stratum servers. So it's already set up for you, nothing else to do. Default intensity is 24. You can adjust it if you want to. Like I said, I start lower. So if you went in here and you were mining, okay, and you had put your address into the config down here where it's supposed to be, right in here. You adjusted your name, adjusted the intensity, then and saved it. Double-clicked the config, not the executable, and it popped to the screen and started saying accepted or approved, whatever it says. Come to SiaMining.com. You might have to wait 5 minutes or so, and you're going to plug in your address here, hit go, and now eventually you'll see a balance in here because this is the wallet address you're looking at, so yours would be there. The unpaid balance, meaning this is how much is there, but it hasn't been paid out to you yet. This particular address, all-time rewards, and you can see the hash rate of this particular address is happening. So right here, this is where your worker would show up. So by default, example worker is what's set up in that particular config. So this could be a ton of different people mining right now for him and not even realizing it, just the way he set it up. And then it's going to show you payouts. So each pool is different. If you go back to SiaCoin.tech, they have different pools. So there's a Luxor and then there's SiaMining. This is the current one that we're showing for the Marlin miner. If I clicked here, it's going to take you over here. And the reason why I'm not opening up all these tabs and extra tabs because my computer sometimes lags out when I do that. So I'm opening and closing stuff. So basically, if you come in here, you plug in your address, and you start to see an unpaid balance and this graph start to move, that means you're good to go. That means eventually what's going to happen is they're going to pay you out to your wallet address that you plugged in here. They're going to basically give you the coins eventually. It's going to be, so the payout threshold daily is 500 SiaCoin. So if you have not hit, or up to 6 hours, whenever, okay. So, excuse me. If you have not hit 500 SiaCoin for the day, then you will not get any payouts. So some people freak out about that. They're like, whoa, I don't understand what's going on. I haven't received anything. Because certain pools have a minimum threshold. I personally don't, again, I don't mine SiaCoin anymore because of financial reasons. I think there are better coins to mine. And the pools that I like are the ones where I can auto get my money off or get my coins off per se. This one is a little bit finicky where you have to wait till it hits 500 limit and then it sends it to you. The downside of that is if you hit the 500 and you want to move on from this pool and move over to a different pool, you have to wait till that 500 hits, let it pull off, and then immediately stop your miner. not the end of the world. It's SiaCoin. It's pretty cheap right now, but that is something to pay attention to look at. So this is where you would plug in. Again, I'm going to go back to show you once more. This is where you'd plug in your wallet address, click go. If it's showing unpaid balance and this graph, that means your quality, you're good, everything's awesome. If you wanted to actually start to adjust the different what do you call it, the different pools, like different sections, because like I don't know which one per se that this one is on, but because it's an auto config that's been created within Marlin, but you can go in further and deeper and actually make adjustments to a different, well, it's all the same port, so different areas. So this is in the United States East versus United States West. I'm not really going to give, well, okay, let's go ahead and do it since we're here. So basically, let's say I wanted to actually set it up and go to a different area. This is how my config would roughly look. Now this particular config, this is an example for Antminer 3. These are examples for GPU miner. So I'd basically copy this right here because this is for the Marlin miner. CC miner, CGM miner, and Go miner are going to be different. So Marlin, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my Marlin folder right in here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit new text. Okay. Open it up, paste it in here. Now, what we're going to do is I picked US East because let's just say I lived on the East Coast. So I want to be like close to where that is. It's going to be this. You're not going to touch any of this because it's what it's saying here is here's the software you can use, which is Marlin. It's telling Marlin to open up. This is the area where it's going to be, you know, in the east to this particular place. Your port is always going to stay the same because it's telling you right here your stratum port is this, so it stays the same. Let's go back to whatever, okay? And then your address is going to be here. So if this was your address, which I know it's not, but if it was, you're going to copy this. You're going to go back here and you're going to plug in the address. And then the worker name, you can leave it the same, but again, I always change mine. So let's say I know I have another computer called Yellow comp. I'm going to put that there. That period stays the same. You don't make any spaces. And then the intensity level, again, default was 24, so I'm going to do it 24. And then when you save it, you're going to save as, let's go here. So I'm in Marlin already, and I'm going to save it as, let's say, I don't know, SiaCoin US East. So I'm just telling myself, you can label it whatever you want, but you have to finish it in .bat. Hit save, close it down, go back to here, and now this right here, if you look, you got that little image there now. This text document you can delete, you don't need that. And so this is a config and this is a config. If I do this one, it's going to do the east one. If I do this one, I don't know which particular area it's set up to do because this, you know, the guy created it, so I don't know if it's auto picking whichever one's closest to you or not. But if you wanted to actually pick your own, pick the location, you can test it out. Maybe, you know, the locations are better in different areas. So let's say you wanted to do the west, for example. Well, the port's still the same for stratum port, and that's what we're using. US West is the only difference. So really the only difference in this is this right here. So all you would have to do is come in here, if I can find which one I did, there we go, and type in west. Nothing else is going to change. Your address is still going to stay the same for the user, because that's the user. Your worker, if you were going to do a different worker, would change, but you can just leave it there. Your intensity will stay the same, and then all you got to do is hit save. Boom, you're done. And so it's like riding a bicycle. Once you've done it once, it's the same thing over and over and over again. So that's for Marlin. I'm going to show you some other options here just in case you wanted to try something different. So Luxor is another one. I've never used Luxor. I've only used the Psi mining one. It's the same exact concept. They use Marlin, CC miner, CGM miner, Go miner. And again, you know, pick whichever one you like. I say start with the basic, simple one first. Try it out. See how your computer, how your GPUs respond. Then maybe wait a couple days, look at the hash rates you're receiving and getting, and then try new miner and just try it out. See what works best, because I one time made an adjustment and my hash rate went through the roof when I started using different miners and tried different things. So you never know how your setup's going to work. Over here again, same exact thing it shows. So if you wanted to do for this Luxor thing and you had Marlin, all I would do is I would copy this. I would go over to my Marlin folder here. Don't touch your application. You don't care about these. This doesn't even matter in here. I'm going to hit new, text. I'm not going to label it just yet. I'm going to go into it. Okay. Now this is the Luxor one. And again, you have to put in your address in here. So whatever my address would be, I'm just going to make something up just for sake of this example. Worker name, you could just leave it the same, or I could just say red comp. Intensity, you can leave it the same, or you can go to default. Save. Oops, sorry, not save as. And what I would personally do, this is just me, I would tell myself, okay, well, this isn't to the SiaMining.com, this is Luxor, and .bat, hit enter. It's saved. You can see it here. Close. Now all of a sudden this one here, this right here, that now is going to be the one towards the Luxor. You're going to close. You can delete this. You don't need it. And then what's going to happen here, actually let's look to see. So I'm going to copy this address real quick and try something out. So at this point, it's the exact same concept. If you use CC Miner, you copy this one and adjust it. Marlin is what we got here. You come up here, you plug in your address, the one that's copied. I have no idea if he'll have anything here. Let's find out. Yeah, okay. So this particular address, you can see the hash rate, meaning that's how like much computation is going towards this particular pool. It'll show you the exact same thing. So here's the unpaid balance for this address. Efficiency, total paid out rewards is almost 500. Here's the hash rate currently. It'll show you time span, so it's updating constantly. And then the name. So you have example worker, which apparently is not doing anything roughly right now in the last 5 minutes, but this default worker, whatever that is, that's set up. And then here's a transaction ID. So I guess 4 months ago, something came out. I don't know for this particular one if, let's just see, we can look around. So each pool has different fees. I don't know what the Sia Mining, let's just find out. Let's see, Sia Mining, what do we call it, .com, I think. So they have a 3% PPS fee, and then this one has a 0 PPLNS fee. So, pay attention to the fees because it's not a huge ordeal, but over time, if you're going to mine on one particular pool for a really long time, then you want to look at the fees and see what they charge. So that's it for that. If you wanted to try, here's another option, Nano Pool, because I know a lot of people are on Nano Pool too. Let's just look at the traffic. I'm just curious. Yeah, 23 million. Nano Pool offers a lot of other options, and Nano Pool does like a dual mining thing. So they use what's called Claymore. So if I click on Quick Start, you can download the Claymore Miner, which is going to look something like this when you open it up, when you download it. Okay, and they actually give you pre-setup configs already. Here's the application, the executable. Don't double click that. You want to double click your configs, whichever one you want. Let's see what the README says. I'm curious now. Okay, so yeah, if you want to, the README will actually go into more. It'll actually start to explain what the command line options are. So for example, like EPSW stands for the password Ethereum pool. Use X as a password. It kind of like breaks everything down for you. But so for example, this one here, it would allow you to dual mine because it's Claymore dual miner. Ethereum Classic plus SiaCoin. If I right click, hit edit, you don't have to worry about this for the moment, or at least I don't, and you're only going to touch, so this right here should be okay, I believe. I'll have to double check. I need to look because all you need to do is adjust your wallet, your worker, which we'd already talked about. Your worker doesn't really matter what the name is, and then your email. And I believe the email for this one is set up only because if there's downtime, then it emails you and it gives you an alert. So this right here is saying this is for Ethereum right here. Let's see. There's the password, the X, stratum. Okay, so then eventually right in here, this starts off, and this is what is their Sia one. So you have to be careful about the dual one, because you have to make sure you put your Ethereum Classic wallet info there, your worker info here, and your email here. But then on this one, you need to put your Sia wallet address here, your worker info here, and your email here. But the nice part about Nano Pool, they actually fix this for you. So instead of you having to go in and adjust this by yourself, click on Quick Start, Once you've downloaded your Claymore, hit generate config, and it gives this pop-up. So I've actually already plugged this in and this in. I just copied, literally just found addresses off the internet and copied it in. So you put your worker, well, first operating system, so Linux or Windows, click it. NVIDIA or AMD, click it. Worker name, so mine would be something like Yellow Comp. Email in here, so email.com. Main server, I'm in the United States, so whatever, West Coast. First one, this is going to be a difference. So Ethereum versus Ethereum Classic, I'm just going to leave it for the example because it's on there. SiaCoin, plug in your SiaCoin, and then hit generate. Then it's going to download in here, and I'm going to go ahead and just open this up. Alright, so this would be the batch file here. And if I right click on it, which I can't do, let's cut this and paste it in here. Guess I can't. But basically you'd copy this over and it's gonna have, you're gonna paste it into here, and it's the exact same thing. You're just gonna double click it, it's gonna start mining for you, and it pop up that box. If you have any other questions and you're really stuck, it's already going to have this all pre-filled, by the way. So that's the reason why that whole entire pre-fill generator works well, because it does all the work for you. So that's why I like that. So your options, I just showed you options for the Marlin. The CC miner is kind of something I use, but I use it for other coins. This is the Claymore miner. I know Claymore, a lot of people like the dual mining for the Claymore, so that's that option there. Last but not least, you're going to want to download something like this, which is Msi Afterburner, because you want to make sure that your temperatures aren't through the roof. So I set my, this is a picture here because I don't have anything on this computer, but I adjust my limits pretty low. I don't mind the fact that I'm leaving coins on the table because I feel like I'd rather have my cards, it's personal preference, I'd rather my cards running at a lower temperature and running like less efficient, so to speak, you know, not as working as hard to let them just, I don't want to burn my cards out and have to pay an arm and a leg to buy more cards. I'd rather just collect more coins and whatever. So that's why I always adjust my temperature limits down lower, because usually they'll ping the top and just sit at the top. So if you're maxing out, temperature limit is at 75, it'll probably sit at 75 degrees or Celsius the whole entire time. So just make sure that you run this and watch your temperatures, because you do not want to burn on your cards. I don't personally overclock any of my cards because A, first off, I don't know how to overclock them well anyways, and B, like I said, I'm just keeping my stuff simple for the moment. But please make sure to download that because I don't want anybody to burn up their cards. Last but not least, if you run into issues or want to learn how to mine other coins, I would suggest going to cryptomining-blog.com. It is kind of technical and complicated at first, but I would say, you know, just slowly work into this and start to read some of the things that they have here. Specifically, if you have certain cards that you've bought that you want to know, like what can they do, what can they mine. This is a pretty detailed blog, and it goes into a lot of heavy stuff. The last thing you can do if you really want to get into more mining type stuff and other coins, and I'll do maybe some other videos on CC miner, and maybe I'll do it on my other computer that's actually mining, and so I can show you like physically how it's done. But let's say you have, for mine I have nvidia, so let's say you have 5 1070s, you come in here, you plug in them out, or let's say I have 7, you change it, click on the actual button here, it's going to turn green, and then it's going to show you the hash rate for any algorithm that you have checked off. So if I uncheck library, for example, it's not going to show me the results down below. So like if I do this as an example and hit calculate, down here it's only going to show me so many options. So SiaCoin's right here, and it's going to try to tell you that, you know, here's your let's see, the exchange that it sells best on right now is Bittrex, it claims, and this would be your, let's see, estimated rewards in 24 hours. So it's claiming, according to this, I don't know if it's right or not, I guess off of 5 cards I would only be receiving 22 SiaCoin per day, which would really suck. I don't even know if that's right. So, I mean, the 7 cards? That's weird. I don't think that's right, to be honest. Something looks off on that. But I always leave these on because I like to see. We'll recalculate this again. So according to this, if you had like a rig of 1070s, then you could come down here and roughly, it's not perfect, guys, it always adjusts, but it'd say you can make in revenue $20 a day. That doesn't count, you're gonna have to take in calculation your electric costs and all those other things. I just made this video because I know a lot of people, they're gamers, they have a rig on the side, and they're like, how do I mine SiaCoin? Hopefully this video walked you through that. If there is a confusing part, please let me know, and I will try to update it maybe in the description there. If the video is super bad and nobody gets it, maybe I'll just do a whole entire new video on how to do it and try to simplify it more. I apologize that it wasn't on my mining rig to show you specifically, in an actual picture what it looks like, but it's hard to, do a video which takes a lot of graphics and show you how to mine and what it looks like at the same time. So I hope this actually at least gave you a place and a way to start and know where to go. I will put all the links down to, between where to get the Cuda, the software, all that stuff in the description, so you can just click on that to download. If you like the video, it would be super awesome if you could give it a like and share it so other people know, because I know this is a hot topic right now. If you don't like it and it's super confusing, give it a thumbs down. I want to know if you guys are actually getting value out of these videos. So just feedback, good, bad, whatever, doesn't matter. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great night.